History textbooks present human civilization as a neat, linear progression, from primitive stone tools to bronze, iron, and eventually the Age of Reason. But scattered across our planet lie ancient structures that shatter this tidy narrative. These aren't just old buildings. They are impossible objects that challenge everything we thought we knew about our ancestors' capabilities. In Turkey, a hilltop temple predates agriculture itself, built by hunter-gatherers who shouldn't have had the organization to erect massive stone pillars. In Bolivia, stone blocks are carved with laser-like precision so perfect that a razor blade can't slide between them. On a remote Pacific island, hundreds of multi-ton statues stare silently out to sea. Their creators vanished without leaving a single written record of how they moved these giants. Mainstream archaeology offers theories, but these are often educated guesses rather than definitive answers. The gaps in our knowledge are what make these sites so compelling. When we look at these structures, we're not just looking at ancient ruins. We're looking at the boundaries of human history itself. These 5 ancient structures stand as monuments not just to their builders, but to the vast unknown that still surrounds our own past. Number 5. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe in the 1990s didn't just rewrite history, it tore the book apart. This hilltop sanctuary, located near the city of Şanlıurfa in southeastern Turkey, is dated to approximately 10,000 BCE, making it over 12,000 years old. To put that into perspective, these massive stone circles predate pottery, metallurgy, and even the domestication of plants and animals. The site was built by hunter-gatherers, people who, according to every textbook written before this discovery, were supposed to be living in small, nomadic bands and capable of large-scale construction projects. The site consists of multiple concentric stone circles enclosing massive T-shaped limestone pillars, each intricately carved with depictions of animals: foxes, snakes, wild boars, cranes, and scorpions. These pillars weigh up to several tons each, with the largest specimens reaching an astonishing 20 tons. The builders quarried these colossal stones from the surrounding limestone bedrock, shaped them with flint tools, and transported them across the landscape before erecting them in circular formations. Recent research suggests the builders exploited natural limestone stratification and used ropes and manpower to move the pillars over short distances, but the coordination required for such a task remains staggering. What makes Göbekli Tepe truly mysterious is its context. These were people who hadn't yet discovered farming. They were supposed to be chasing game and gathering wild plants, not organizing massive labor forces to construct elaborate temples. The site includes water management systems that further complicate assumptions about technological limitations. The presence of such sophisticated architecture at this early date fundamentally reshapes our understanding of human capability and social organization in the prehistoric era. Who were these people, and why did they invest so much effort in building a sanctuary when they should have been focused on survival? The answer remains one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Number 4. The Nazca Lines, Peru. Across the arid desert plateau of southern Peru, stretching over more than 1,000 square kilometers, lie thousands of geometric shapes, straight lines, and massive animal figures known as the Nazca Lines. Created between 500 BCE and 500 CE, these geoglyphs are not simple scratches on the ground, but precisely executed designs made by removing the top, rust-colored layer of rocks to expose the brighter white sand beneath. The longest lines run arrow straight for miles, and the largest figures stretch nearly 1,200 feet across, so enormous they are best viewed from the air. The how of the Nazca Lines is relatively straightforward. The builders didn't need to fly. They used simple surveying techniques and grids to scale up their designs from small models. But the why is where the mystery deepens. The lines are visible not just from above, but also from surrounding foothills, suggesting they were intended to be seen from multiple viewpoints. Scientists initially suspected astronomical alignments with constellations or solstices, but more recent research suggests the geoglyphs point to ceremonial or ritual sites related to water and fertility. This makes ecological sense. The Nazca Desert is one of the driest places on Earth, and water was the difference between life and death. The sheer scale and precision of the Nazca Lines raise uncomfortable questions. How did a pre-industrial society coordinate the creation of hundreds of massive animal figures across such a vast landscape without any aerial perspective? The process of removing surface stones along the lines would have required thousands of workers over many generations, working from a master plan that is now lost. In recent years, scientists using AI technology have discovered 300 additional glyphs, proving the site is even more extensive than previously imagined. The Nazca Lines stand as a monument to ancient human ingenuity, but their true purpose remains elusive, a cosmic scale riddle written on the desert floor. Number 3. Sacsayhuaman, Peru. Perched on a hillside overlooking the old Inca capital of Cusco at an elevation of 12,000 feet, Sacsayhuaman is a fortress whose walls seem to defy the laws of physics. Built more than 1,000 years ago, the complex is constructed from enormous stones that were chiseled and stacked together like a jigsaw puzzle. The largest stones weigh up to 220 tons each. Some sources even suggest 360 tons, and were carried more than 20 miles from their quarries before being lifted and fitted into place with precision that modern engineers struggle to replicate. The stones interlock so perfectly that no mortar was required, and the walls have withstood earthquakes for centuries, demonstrating an advanced understanding of load distribution and seismic resilience. The mystery of Sacsayhuaman lies in its precision. The irregular, polygonal stone blocks are fitted together with such mathematical exactitude that a thin blade cannot pass between them. The faces of the stones are curved and angled in 3 dimensions, creating an interlocking 3-dimensional puzzle that would challenge modern computer-aided design systems. Spanish chroniclers documented some Inca stone working techniques, including the use of stone tools and a process known as rock pecking. But the consistency of the finished blocks raises questions about whether standardized or prefabricated methods were employed. How did the Inca transport these massive stones, some of which weigh more than a fully loaded Boeing 747, across 20 miles of rugged Andean terrain? The traditional theory suggests enormous labor forces using ropes, ramps, and levers, but this explanation strains credibility when applied to stones of this magnitude. More recently, archaeologists have uncovered traces of the rope and lever system used by the Incas, but these findings don't fully explain the impossible fit of the blocks. What's more, similar walls exist throughout the Inca Empire, including one in Cusco where a 12-angled stone has been carefully wedged into place. Sacsayhuaman remains a testament to lost knowledge, engineering secrets that the Incas took to their graves. Number 2. The Moai of Easter Island. On the remote, windswept shores of Easter Island, nearly 900 monolithic stone figures known as Moai stand as silent witnesses to a vanished civilization. Carved by the Rapa Nui people between 1100 and 1500 CE, these statues average 13 feet tall and weigh 14 tons, with the largest completed figures reaching 33 feet and weighing up to 80 tons. The Moai were carved from the soft volcanic tuff found in the Reno Raraku quarry, where more than 400 statues remain in various states of construction, some still attached to the bedrock. Then the builders transported them across miles of rugged, hilly terrain to their final resting places along the coast. The mystery of the Moai is twofold. How were they moved, and why were they built? The movement of these colossal figures would have been a monumental logistical challenge. Theories range from wooden sledges and log rollers to a walking technique using ropes to rock the statues forward. While experimental archaeology has demonstrated that such transport is possible, the historical evidence remains thin. The island was almost completely deforested by the time Europeans arrived, so the theory that the Rapa Nui used vast quantities of wood to move the statues is problematic. If the island had sufficient trees to build the sledges or rollers required for these stones, then why was it deforested? This circular logic keeps the question open. The purpose of the Moai is equally mysterious. They were likely sculpted for religious or ritual reasons, perhaps to honor ancestors or as representations of powerful chieftains. The exact reasons remain debated, and the civilization that created them collapsed due to what some scholars describe as an environmental disaster of their own making. The Rapa Nui left no written records, so we have only the statues themselves, and the haunting question of how a small island community managed to carve, transport, and erect these massive figures. The long journey from the quarry to the coast, estimated at 11 miles, required organizational skills that seem remarkable for a society isolated in the Pacific. Number 1. Pumapunku, Bolivia. At the top of this list stands Pumapunku, a site near Lake Titicaca in Bolivia that represents the pinnacle of ancient stonemasonry. The name means Gateway of the Puma in the Aymara language, and entering this archaeological complex is like stepping into a world where the rules of ancient engineering no longer apply. Constructed after 536 CE, Pumapunku features megalithic blocks so precisely carved that the joints are thinner than a razor blade. The red sandstone and andesite blocks were quarried from a location roughly 10 miles away and transported to the site, with the heaviest paving stones weighing up to 131 tons. What makes Pumapunku extraordinary is not just the size of the stones, but the sophistication of their design. The blocks are carved into complex geometric shapes, including interlocking H-shaped stones, with perfectly straight edges, right angles, and drilled holes of remarkable uniformity. Some of the stones appear to have been cut from a template, suggesting mass production techniques that were unheard of in the ancient world. The precision is so extraordinary that mainstream archaeologists have struggled to explain how the builders achieved such results with the stone tools available at the time. The presence of drill holes in the stones adds another layer of mystery. What kind of technology could have produced such perfectly circular bores in solid rock? The logistical challenge of Puma Punku is staggering. The red sandstone blocks were transported and assembled with accuracy that would strain even modern machinery. Archaeological evidence suggests stone hammers, grinding stones, and sand were used, but the consistency of the finished blocks has led researchers to question whether standardized or prefabricated methods were employed. No surviving texts describe the construction, and the civilization that built Puma Punku vanished long before the Inca began to hail the site as sacred. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed an underground network of residences and water conduits beneath the site, proving that Puma Punku was not just a temple, but a sophisticated urban complex. This is the site that truly makes history uncomfortable, a monument that suggests our ancestors possessed knowledge that we have yet to recover.